Hi, I'm Chad with Move for Guitar. This lesson is from our series, How to Read Music for Guitar. In this lesson, I'm going to explain clef signs. First off, if you like all the diagrams for this series, including the diagrams for this lesson, you can download our free e-guide, How to Read Music for Guitar. But I am working on it right now as I'm filming this lesson, so it might not be available as you're watching this lesson. If it is available, a link will pop up on the screen that'll allow you to download it. And like I said, it's free, so there's no reason not to download it when it is available. This is part 2 in our series, How to Read Music for Guitar. If you'd like to go back and start at the beginning, you can click the link on the screen. So in the last lesson, I explained the staff or the stave, and that's what's on your screen right now. And I explained the staff was just a series of 5 lines and 4 spaces. So the lines are obviously the horizontal lines that are shown, and the spaces are in between the lines. And I explained that the staff was just a way to plot out notes in some sort of grid system that allows you to recognize the relative pitch between notes. For example, if you saw a note right here and you saw a note right here, you would know how far apart those two notes are from each other. But I also said that that's not enough for understanding actual note names. All you're really understanding is how far apart two notes are from each other just with the staff. What you need to actually recognize the note names is a clef sign. And there's multiple clef signs, but one of the most common is the treble clef, which looks like this. And that's what the guitar is written in, so it's what we'll focus most of our time on. And the reason there's multiple clef signs is because instruments have different registers. For example, a guitar is in one register and a bass is in another. They share some of the same notes, but a bass goes a lot lower than a guitar, obviously. So you don't have the space on one staff to write the bass guitar and the regular guitar together. They each need to be shown in different registers, and that's represented by a clef sign. For example, that's a treble clef for, like I said, the guitar is written in, and this is a bass clef. That's what a bass clef looks like, and bass music, or half of the piano, would be written on the bass clef. So if we go back to the treble clef, if I was to write a note right here, that's an A note. I would know that's an A note because the treble clef is telling me that's an A note. But if I was looking at the bass clef, that would actually be a C note, and it'd be a lot lower in pitch. So the treble clef tells me one thing, and the bass clef tells me another thing. And like I said, these aren't the only two clefs. These are the most common, but there are other clefs as well for other instruments. But for now, we'll just focus mainly on the treble clef, and I'll talk about the bass clef a little bit. And also, the piano is written in both clefs because the piano has such a big range. So your right hand, a lot of the information is landing on the treble clef, and your left hand, a lot of information would be landing on the bass clef. So you'd see both of those written together. And in upcoming lessons, I'll show where the treble and the bass intersect and how the guitar has some pitches that land in the bass clef as well. Although you wouldn't read it in the bass clef, it would be written below the treble clef, which I'll explain later. And the treble clef is also known as the G clef. It's not as common to hear it that way, but it is known as the G clef as well. And that's because right here is circling this line, and a note that lands on this line is a G note in the treble clef. So that's why it's sometimes called the G clef. So that's an overview of clef signs. This was more of an overview. Like I said, we'll really dive deep into this concept in other lessons, upcoming lessons. I don't want to overload you with too much at once. I just want to break this down into small chunks for you so it's easy to grasp each part, and you can just keep moving through this series to build on all those parts, and eventually they'll all make sense to you. But in and of itself, understanding what a clef sign is extremely important for understanding how to read music, so I wanted to dedicate a lesson to it. But you can go ahead and move on to the next lesson where I'm going to explain what the actual note names are that land in the treble clef. And be sure to download the e-guide. Like I said, all the diagrams are in there. And be sure to subscribe because we had at least one new lesson every day.